Alrighty. So, yeah, kind of an unplanned stream, but nevertheless, hopefully a couple of you guys will join in. I see we got one person so far. Yeah, let me know if the audio and the video is okay, right? So, yeah, who's online? Let me know. And while we wait for some folks to jump in, I'll just have a sip of my coffee and, yeah, let me know in the comments. Okay, there we go. Right, guys, where are you from? Always interested to know that. Where are you guys from and where are you viewing from? And yeah, just to get this thing rolling, let me know if the audio and the video is okay, right? I know there's going to be a little bit of a lag on the video, but that's to be expected. There we go. Hey, Melvin. India, namaste. Cool. Thanks for hanging out. Audio's fine. Great. Good to know. Okay, guys. Well, like I said, it'll take a minute or so to have some people join in. But what I wanted to do today is to basically have an open forum where we talk about what's going on in the 3D industry and, more importantly, what's going on in your lives as a 3D artist or an upcoming 3D artist. How is the current situation in the world impacting your studies? How is it impacting your work, right? Do you have any questions about job interviews, about software, hardware, anything really, right? So it's kind of an open Q&A. So just let me know what you want to talk about, right? Okay. So several people from India, cool. Any other countries present right now? Considering the time zone, I would say potentially people from Europe. Maybe it's a bit early for the US, could be, but yeah, let me know. Nepal, wow. I one day hope to visit for sure. It's on my bucket list. You never know, right? So thank you guys so much for joining. So yeah, let me know, guys. This session is for you. What's going on in your lives? What's going on with your studies, right? Anything you really want to talk about. So I got the first question in here. What's the most profitable way to make money in animation from South Africa? Well, that kind of depends on your personal situation, right? I mean, when it comes to making money in animation, really, and this is not only in animation, but in any industry, right? Scalability. Now, what do I mean by that? If you, as an individual, work as an animator, right? And you have an hourly rate that you charge, I don't know, let's say what, $50 or whatever, right? Your income is limited by the number of hours you work per week, right? If you work 50 hours a week, then that's your maximum income. So scalability is the only way basically to really increase that number. I mean, you can't charge $5,000 an hour, right? Obviously. So either you work on a product, let's say a film or whatever, that you sell, right? And you generate a revenue from that. But working as an animator on an hourly basis, like I said, that's limited. Now, how can you get scalability? You could, for example, make tutorials and sell them online. You could teach people through, classes that you make, that you video record, and that you have where people pay per time that they view it, that kind of thing, right? And then the question is, do you want to be an employee or do you want to be a freelance artist? As a freelance artist, you have more options. For example, let's say you work freelance and your projects become bigger and bigger. Initially, you're doing this really tiny animation for a car commercial. Over time, the projects become bigger and bigger. What you can do is you can hire additional people to help you with a project, right? And you are the one sending the invoice to the client. So their labor cost is basically the cost of the product. And then the profit is, it's going to be on top of that. So that's one way to scale that. Let me know if that makes sense. Yeah. Let's see. Will artificial intelligence replace our CGI jobs? I 100% believe they will not, right? Let me explain. And I say this many, many times, right? If you look at what our job is, job, and that is to tell a story or to help tell a story. If you're working on a car commercial, you're helping tell the world that that's the best car ever. If you're working on Toy Story 5, whatever, you're telling whatever story Pixar wants to tell. So our job is, through our skills, through our software knowledge and so forth, to help tell a story. Now, a machine or a robot or a piece of software doesn't have the creative brain of a person, right? For us, Maya, Blender, 3ds Max, ZBrush, all of these are simply tools. The tools by themselves can't tell a story, okay? So if you focus on the creative elements of being a 3D artist, if you focus on developing your skill sets in how to communicate with clients, how to translate whatever they want told to the world through your work, I'm not worried about your job at all. If your job is making simple props and nothing else, then you might have a problem, right? But like I said, that's not the job of a 3D artist. Okay. I heard that China is going to dominate the art industry in the near future. What is my opinion on this fact? I don't really think so. Maybe in the Asian market, that could be the case. I mean, yes, there are a lot of Chinese people. There are also a lot of people in India, right? But that has been the case for many, many, many years. So why would we suddenly have that shift? It's kind of a thing where if you are working on a project, depending on the type of project, it sometimes helps for you to hire artists that understand your local culture, understand, your language, and so forth. If I have a project as a client that I want to interact with an artist on a daily basis, it's easier for me to work with somebody local, right? And again, when it comes to the type of work being massive, big, high volume, yes, possibly. But it doesn't necessarily impact the individual 3D artist, I don't think, yeah? Is it more stressful to do freelance because of income that would change month to month? Yes, of course. I mean, being a freelance artist is scary as hell, to be honest. But the thing there is, once you have built your network and you have built some reserves, you don't have to be worried as much. I have many, many clients. I have many areas where I can diversify my income, right? Never focus on one individual thing. If you have one client, right, and they suddenly decide to work with another artist, you're out of business completely, which is not good. So sell stuff online, do tutoring, make some money there. I don't know, sell tutorials. If you have 5 or 6 or 7 different income streams, if one of them gets impacted, you still have 6 others, right? That would be my advice. Learned a ton from your videos. You just come on real early in the morning. Well, not for the videos necessarily, but for live streams, sure. That's just because I'm located in Europe, right? I'm a beginner in Maya. I learn your videos daily. That's very cool. Thank you. Let's see. That makes a good point. It seems like companies have been moving a lot of low-level 3D jobs to countries that ask for less money. Will this trend continue? Well, like I said, and this has happened in so many different industries, right? I mean, look at any type of labor that doesn't necessarily require a lot of years of skill, right, or knowledge or whatever. I don't know, the shoe industry, the clothing industry. When it comes to pure labor cost, the Western world tends to outsource that to countries where the wages are still low. Now, that said, over time, that will level out. I'll give you an example. I live in the Netherlands right now, yeah? Many, many people from Poland come to the Netherlands to work and make money, and that's their good right, yeah? They do so because the wages in Poland are much, much lower. Now, the thing is, that money flows back into Poland, and over time it kind of levels out. So it's no longer interesting for them to do so. I believe the same will be the case with India or with China. So over time, if you are paying the same amount for work, 3 streets over or 5,000 miles away, what makes most sense, right? After all, it is a global world. So there you go. But again, that's why I just told you, focus on the storytelling, focus on the creative element, focus on the ability to communicate with a client or with an employer to understand what do you want, why do you want it, and work on the finesse of it. The bulky, straightforward prop stuff, that's going to be impacted for sure. Okay. Let's see. I'm a student. What's the absolute best thing to do for me as I venture into the working world? Okay. That's a very broad question, but what I would say is start by trying to get an internship, whether it's paid or not paid, right? The internship will give you, boots on the ground, if you know what I mean. It will give you insight into the industry. You will hopefully listen to people, look at what people are doing, gain knowledge that way, and it will heavily increase your chances in the industry. Okay, so that's what I would do. Let's see, Ethiopia, so cool. Pictures are really helpful. Okay, guys, any other questions or comments or concerns or remarks or stuff that you are, worried about as far as work, study, software, hardware, anything really? Let me know. Like I said, this is a pretty unscheduled, spontaneous live stream. So yeah, I don't expect hundreds of people here, but yeah, it's still fun. So there you go. Does having general knowledge of 3D make your portfolio more attractive to employers, say being good at rigging, modeling, and environment art and character art? Can it make you, okay, so I don't know what you mean by general knowledge of 3D. Obviously, as a 3D artist, you should have general knowledge of 3D. You should have more than general knowledge of 3D. So I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, right? If you mean, is it interesting to know a lot about everything, as in rigging, modeling, environment, so forth, that definitely helps your chances for sure. Okay. Let's see, Zachary. Hey, Zachary, how you doing? If your work is on a pro level, okay, that's probably part 2 of, okay. Yeah, so that ties into the previous comment. Let's see. Hopefully everything's going good. Is Blender the future? I don't think so. I don't think so. I had that debate so many times. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with Blender. But first of all, a lot of people move towards Blender because it's free, right? Now, to counter that, what Autodesk did is they made the indie license. So now instead of paying almost $400 a month, you now pay $350 for a full year license. So I don't see any reason purely financially to go with Blender, right? Now, in addition, Blender is kind of a catch-all program. It's free, but that means that the development of the software works in a different way. For example, I'm in the beta testing team for Autodesk, right? What Autodesk will do is they will sit down with industry leaders like NVIDIA, like Intel, like other companies, and they will co-develop new technology. Now, Blender doesn't have the resources to do that. So that in itself, for me, would be a reason not to work with Blender. I mean, hey, again, nothing wrong with Blender. If that is what you can afford, or if you have to work with it and it works for you, great. Okay. Okay, guys, any other questions, topics, comments, concerns? Hey, I mean, what's going on? You guys that are studying, are you still studying from home, or let's see, what do I prefer over Blender? Well, I am obviously a Maya fan. That said, I have worked with others as well. I've worked with Modo, I worked with Houdini, I worked with let's see, all sorts of stuff. Keyshot, Mari, Substance Painter, 3D Code. Basically, I work with whatever I need to work with, right? If I get a client and the client says, hey, you need to work in Blender on this project because that's what we have, I'll do that. That's kind of the thing. If you're a freelance artist, you kind of need to focus on that kind of thing. Even if you are not a freelance artist and you're looking for a job, and you might know how to work in Maya perfectly, the employer might tell you, well, that's great, but we don't use Maya. We use 3ds Max or whatever. You'll probably have like a week to get up and running in that software. Okay, so just so you know. Let's see, how to get a perfect render in Maya. Well, first of all, it's practice, it's gaining knowledge. But my tip on that one, besides having the technical skills as in settings and that kind of thing, is study things like film and photography. A render, after all, is a snapshot of something, right? So basically, it's a snapshot of, hey, you know, having a camera and taking a snapshot of something. Making a render look good has a lot to do with lighting, with composition, with the technical aspects of processing the light, that kind of thing. For me, I would say if you want to improve what your render looks like, not necessarily technically, but overall, study photography skills. That would be my tip, yeah? Let's see. Do I have a sequence of objects to a beginner to pro, which can help me where my modeling skills are at? Okay. No, I don't, but I do have something that might help you, okay? What happens all the time is people start off in 3D and then they model, I don't know, a coffee mug, right? Okay, so hey, okay, there you go, coffee mug. They develop certain skills needed to make that coffee mug. And what they do is they repeat these skills over and over in different objects that require the same skills. That will not grow you as a 3D artist. So what you need to do is challenge yourself to model other things, or have somebody else challenge you to model other things, right? So if you've never modeled a car, model a car. If you never modeled a couch, model a couch. You will run into trouble because you miss certain skills, and that's the best way to pick up those skills, okay? All right, let's see. Yeah, okay, so talked about that. Ramesh, hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you? Christoph, let's see, just watch another tutorial about a tool I never knew existed. I guess this type of video is nice as you know things we may not know about. Okay, I don't know which one that was, Christoph, whether it was the video that I just uploaded like half an hour ago or the one I did on Monday, okay? How do you get faster at 3D modeling? Okay, well, once you have your workflow down, right, it's always good to interact with other 3D artists. And I mean, preferably face-to-face or at least virtually, right? Follow their workflow. Why are you doing it this way? Why are you not doing it that way? Why are you using those shortcuts? How did you make that short key, right? Why did you make that script? All of these things can help you become faster. Keep in mind, though, that fast is not always good. If you're good and fast, great. If you're fast and not good, not great, right? Don't think if you can work fast that makes you a better artist. The priority is good. If somebody is going to hire you, right, they will always choose good over fast. That's what I'm saying, yeah? Once you're at the point that you have your skills down and you can make solid, good work, then you start looking at scripts and plugins and all that. Be careful of plugins, though, because if you get used to using a plugin and suddenly you have to work behind a system where the plugin isn't there and you don't remember how to do it without a plugin, you know, just saying. Okay, let's see. What kind of work you getting from clients these days after all the years of experience? Oh, I get a couple of examples. Concept toys from toy manufacturing companies. What's that called? Baby products like pacifiers, that kind of thing. medical simulations for training purposes. I make environments for trampoline parks. I model kitchens for people who make kitchens. I model cupboards, closets, that kind of stuff. Basically, anything that will make a buck. That's the life of a freelance artist, right? So whatever comes my way, I would say. I don't really have a specialty because I think it's important to stay a generalist, to be able to do all sorts of things. Once you become a specialist and do nothing but cars, what happens if something happens to the car industry or they no longer use 3D models or whatever? Again, it's all risk management, okay? Let's see, need a suggestion. I'm unable to complete my project. What should I keep in mind to complete it? My project is bus model. I'm facing issues in making the lights and body. Again, build a network. Watch YouTube videos, go into relevant Facebook groups, ask other people for advice, show your work online, ask people what's wrong with it, and that's how you build skills, yeah? Let's see, do I think procedural 3D work will be standard in the future? Does it make sense to learn a specific language like Houdini? Okay. Procedural 3D work, I think it definitely has a future. Will it be the standard? No. Let me explain. Just take, for example, I don't know, Toy Story, just to make it simple. Okay, so you got Toy Story 4. Now, in Toy Story 4, you have a whole bunch of cars, right? Now, it's likely or possible that they have been made, procedurally. It's possible. I don't think so, but it's possible, right? So, but if you look at the main characters like Sully, right, and what's his name, Mike Wachowski, these are definitely not procedural. Now, that ties into, again, what I said before. You need to become a more creative artist. You need to be able to have creative ideas and use your skills and software knowledge to make them visual. That is where the money is. That is where clients know, I can't automate this. I need somebody that has the knowledge and skill and so forth to do this. They'll spend a lot more money on the main character development than on a prop car. Makes sense, right? So don't focus on making prop cars, maybe as a side income, but your primary activity should be something where there's more money to make, right? Let's see. Please tell us about your experience as a 3D artist. Well, I'm telling you about my experience as a 3D artist. So Christoph said I was talking about both videos. Cool, thank you. What's the range a pro-level 3D artist can ask for when freelancing? Is it possible to charge similar rates if you never worked in the industry but are at the same level? Thing is this. If you say that you never worked in the industry but you're at the same level, I would say that is very unlikely, right? Because certain skill aspects can only be obtained in the industry, in my opinion, because your work as a 3D artist is not only your output. Now, that might sound strange, okay? But let me explain. You as an individual, when you get hired by a client or by an employer, they pay for the full package, which means they not only pay for your model, but they pay for the skills you have in communicating, the skills you have in a meeting, the skills or the ideas you have in a project. All of these things build your value, right? Now, most of these things is knowledge gained in the industry. So if you never worked in the industry, it would be very hard for you to reach that same level. That's why I said before, if you have never worked in the industry, but you can get an internship, you got one foot in the door, you can listen to people, look at what people are doing, and gain knowledge that way. Yeah. Okay, Shrub saying thanks, thank you. Do you think creating your own tools in Python or Mel may be also useful when working with Maya and be a plus for a potential client? Oh, I absolutely think that is. If you have scripting, programming, scripting knowledge, in Mel being Maya specific, or in Python being more generic, that is definitely a pro or a plus for an employer and also for a client. Do I have a plan to give subscribers weekly challenges? Well, the thing here, Alpha, is that I have tried over the years so many times to set up challenges, and I put in an enormous amount of time developing 3D challenges and whatnot. The last 3 challenges I did, where I had prizes of over $1,000, right? I had less than 5 entries. I have no idea why. Apparently, people don't want to show their work. Apparently, they don't want to compete online. I don't know what that is. So I just stopped doing that, right? I recently made a video where I literally said to people, listen, I have 140,000 subscribers, right? I have hundreds of thousands of views a month. I literally told you guys, create a 2-minute video where you talk about yourself, what you want, show your work, and show it to the world on my channel, right? That's like free advertisement, chance of a lifetime, right? You know how many videos I received? 0. 140,000 subscribers, something like, I don't know, 300,000 views every month. 0 entries, none. So apparently nobody is interested in showing their work, in showing potential clients their work, or anything like that. So weekly challenges, no, sorry. Let's see. How do you approach learning 3D in your early days as a 3D artist? Well, my early days have been, it's a long time ago. And I kind of went through the process where I developed my skills as the industry develops, right? I mean, the 3D industry isn't that old. I mean, for you guys, it probably is, but the first glimpse of any 3D industry at all is basically somewhere around 1995, right? So that's 26 years ago. Now, back then, 3D was really nothing. It was just starting. Now it's a whole different ballgame, okay? Now, so let's forget about how I started and let's talk about the current day. Let's say you start today as a 3D artist, right? What would you need to do? What would you need to understand? Now, of course, you have what all the universities focus on, which is technical ability, knowledge of software, and so on, yeah? Do you need to know these things? Of course. But that said, does that make you a great 3D artist? No, it does not. Not at all. Now, I'm sorry to say that, but it's the truth. Because, and I always give this example, you have shows on TV or animations made that are literally, from a technical standpoint, they're horrible, right? The technical is just bad. But the story element and the creative element is so good that it's a huge hit, right? Now, on the other side, you have movies that cost hundreds of millions, right? And they are a box office flop. Why? Because they throw every aspect in there that they can think of, every special effect, every explosion, every whatever, but the storyline sucks. So what does this tell you? It tells you that the creative element, the ability to convey a story, to convey an emotion, to get people involved in whatever you created is much more important, right? So learning technical stuff, skills, software, absolutely, you need to be able to do that. But don't forget that creative aspect. Learn about lighting, learn about composition, learn about human emotion, right? If you are sitting in a cinema looking at a movie, right, the creators of that movie want one thing, and that is for you to be engaged. You need to be engaged in the story. You need to feel that movie. You need to be happy or sad or angry or something, right? If they can trigger that emotion, they did their job. That is the most essential thing, yeah? Now, if you're going to go out and become the 3D artist that sells digital tables on TurboSquid, and that's your career, hey, you're probably going to have a problem being a 3D artist. If you are the kind of person that wants to develop yourself as a more creative style artist, then that's your future, I would say. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Also commented for challenge, prize is not needed, but you should at least do challenge for the people who are intermediate so they can know how to work on projects. Well, yeah, fair enough. But the thing is this, if I put a challenge online, right, and I say, okay, this is for intermediate people, do people have a sticker on their head that says intermediate? I mean, there's no way to challenge that or to check that. Nothing at all, right? People can be in the industry for 20 years and say, hey, I started last week. So there's no way to check that, right? And I thought about this, and that's why it doesn't work, okay? I'm interested in a weekly challenge. Maybe we can try it again and see how it goes this time. I started my channel after watching your videos and tutorials. I can say it's been positive. Thank you. Well, thank you so much. I'll think about it, but like I said, I did this many times over, and I even asked people up front before I announced the challenge, if I announce a challenge, will you participate? And like 30 people said yes. And then I went out and found a sponsor and found a prize and set everything up and put in all the work, and nobody sent anything in. And I'm too busy with this and I'm too busy with that. And that's fine, okay? That's totally fine. But for that reason, I don't do that anymore. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, Alpha saying, I agree. What you need is motivation, how to manage time, stuff, not prizes. Well, fair enough. Thing is this, though. If you look at current society, if you will, right? What people tend to focus on is, and I'm not talking about you guys per se, but in general, right? People want instant fame, instant glory. If you look at, I don't know, you look at videos on YouTube, you look at stuff on Instagram, social media, people are doing crazy things, right? But they want their minute of fame. They want those likes, they want those hearts, they want the comments. So they'll climb in a huge high tower or they'll jump off of something or whatever, right? Now, where I'm going with this is, if I look at people in 3D, a lot of them are focusing on the quote unquote cool stuff, right? They're modeling race cars or modeling grenades or whatever, but the modeling isn't that great. But they're focused on, yeah, but it's cool. The thing is, clients don't care about cool. They care about solid workflow. That kind of stuff is boring, right? You have to do the boring stuff as well. And when I ask people to do a challenge where we look at these kind of aspects, then people are not feeling it. They'll ask me all the time, hey, can you do a tutorial about, modeling, the enterprise, whatever. That's like a 150-hour project. And they want me to do that in 10 minutes. Okay, that's impossible. So then I started doing time lapses. And then people say, hey, a time lapse is me showing what I can do. How is that helpful for you guys? I want to teach you guys skills so you can use it in your own worlds, right? Let's see here. What do I think about Weta M coming, game changer? I don't know yet. Hey, I see that Jason just joined. Hey, Jason, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I don't know yet. There are a lot of changes going on, yeah, we'll see. Like I said, there's too much stuff going on right now to focus on everything. And let's not forget what's going on in the world right now, right? That has a huge impact on the industry. It has a huge impact on schools. I don't know if you guys noticed, but how many of you have Netflix, right? For the last couple of months, I've been flipping through Netflix, and I'm like, this stuff sucks, right? They're loading movies from 1995. They're doing reruns of things. There's no new creative content. It's all about pushing out the quick and easy buck, right? If you do Rambo 2, 3, 4, 5, Jaws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth, will it draw a crowd to the cinema? Yes. Will it make money? Yes. But is it any good? Now, as a 3D artist, this is a pitfall that you need to be careful about, right? Your reputation as a 3D artist is unique. You only have one reputation. If you get the name as a 3D artist that you're going for the quick buck, people that are really serious about it will kind of bypass you and won't hire you, right? Be careful there. Let's see what else we got. Just tag mates. If you get enough renders on Instagram, maybe you'll start again. Yeah, could be. Could be. Yeah, I mean, I'll think about it, guys. That's what I can promise you. I'll think about potentially just, putting in a weekly challenge, like, for example, on every video on every Monday. So, you kind of have a week to create something. And what I can do is the final renders that come in, that I will showcase them on my Instagram page, right? And then, you can tell people it's there and show it off and that kind of thing. How does that sound? Let me know. Animation pipeline software. Is that a question? What do you want to ask? Do you want to know what software to use for the animation pipeline? Is that the question? Okay, guys, what else is going on? Yeah, questions. So work, study, I don't know. How was your date last Saturday? Whatever. Do you know anything about 3D industry in India? Does it impact world 3D? Are there companies who are interested in India 3D? Yes. Jason is saying I'm missing the patron. Yeah. Yeah, it was cool, Jason, for sure. Shrub, yeah, well, the thing is, when it comes to India, there has been a time where a lot of bulk work would be outsourced to India, right? And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of very talented people in India. But the thing is, there are a lot of people in India. So the competition is huge and the wages are low, right? Now, that will change over time, I'm sure of it. But when it comes to finding work in India, I would say that I would have a very specific approach to find that work. Now, I'll give you an example, and I don't know if it applies to you or not, but I'll try, okay? Let's say I'm living in, I don't know, Bangalore, India, yeah? I'm a 3D artist, and there's really nothing going on around me, like studios or anything like that, right? How am I going to find a job? How am I going to get hired? How am I going to, okay. So what I do is this. I think about production companies that are making products so they can sell them, right? For example, let's say there's someone making kitchens or someone making furniture or whatever, yeah? So if they need to make a product to showcase it before they can sell it, they're spending a lot of money because they're buying wood, they're spending time to make it, they're painting it or whatever. And then they have this blue table and nobody wants a blue table because they want a green one, or they want a table that's higher or lower or whatever. So he spent a lot of money on that and it's not giving him the profit he's looking for. Now, if I were living in that area, I would go over and say, listen, do you sell, for example, on a website? And if not, do you, for example, put up posters with a photo of the table where you say, hey, this table is for sale, yeah? And if he says yes, then what I'll say is, listen, I'll make a table for you in blue, green, red, yellow, and I'll make a tall one and a small one or whatever. And then you can showcase it for sale. And if somebody wants to buy it, then you make it. So you're saving this guy a lot of money, right? And even if they know nothing about 3D, and even if they don't care about 3D, they do care about money. So you found a way to save this guy money. And as a result, he wouldn't have any problem paying you, right? If you can save this guy $1,000 a week and you're asking him for 400 in return, it's a no-brainer, right? So that's what I would do. Let's see. Sounds great. How was my break? Yeah, break was good. I've been doing a lot of things that are not related to 3D whatsoever. Just on a side note, I don't know if any of you guys know this, but I'm a member of a search and rescue team, and I'm doing kind of a paramedic training right now to improve my skills. So, what is my way of telling a story? All right. Well, or telling a story in general. Okay. Now, when it comes to storytelling, a story always has to have a point or a moral to the story, right? Give you an example. I think it was Toy Story 3, I think. The one with the bear with the attitude, yeah? That at the end of the movie, he gets stuck to the front of a garbage truck. The moral of that movie is basically that if you are disloyal to your friends, that's not a good thing, right? And if you are mean to other people, then you will get presented with the bill at some point. So there's kind of a moral to the story. If you look at how stories develop over time, the purpose of a story is obviously to convey a message. Now, selling a car can be a story, right? Oh, this is the latest BMW, and if you buy this car and drive in this car, then all the gorgeous women will want to date you, right? That could be a story. Or if you buy these running shoes, you're going to be the fastest runner ever. These are not necessarily true stories, but they're stories, right? So it always starts with the viewer and working backwards. What do you want to achieve? I want to achieve that the person looking at it will buy the car. Okay. How can I trigger that emotion? Okay. I need to appeal to his sense of style, to his sense of his level of income. And you work backwards towards, okay, what check boxes do I need to hit to tell the story correctly? And then I work backwards and backwards and backwards. And then I got my storyline, right? Two ways to do it. One is make a story from scratch and hope people like it, or figure out what people like and work backwards and create that story. I like the first one better because it's more original, but that's how it works. Yeah. Let's see. What software is needed to create a complete animation? Many different types. But basically, if you're starting from scratch, you're looking at modeling, you're looking at UVing, you're looking at lighting, texturing, rigging, doing the animation, rendering. So you could do that in Maya, you could do that in, yeah, I don't know, a whole bunch of different types. Not really sure what to say there, yeah? Why not apply for a job outside of India? Okay. So you're a 3D artist in India, right? I'm a client sitting in the US, and I get an email from you saying, hey, I want to work for you. The question to ask is, why would I hire you instead of somebody down the street? Okay. Now, I need to have a very good reason before I hire somebody that's 8,000 miles away, right? Because what about the time difference, right? Let's say I got a question. I can't ask you because you're sleeping, right? What if I have very specific questions that are, dealing with cultural awareness in the US, and you're not aware because you live in India, for example? So what is the reason? Now, if I got a pretty straightforward product that I need, and I need a lot of them, and there's not really a lot to it, but the biggest thing I want is low wages, I would go and look at a country where the wages are low, right? So if you want to get hired in places outside of India, you need to find added value that will make you compete with people living there. That's basically what I'm saying. Yeah. Game industry in Brazil is terrible. Yeah, I heard that. Okay. Is there anything to definitely avoid when being a 3D artist? Yes. And thank you for this brilliant question. Like I said before, your reputation is everything. What I see online, a couple of things. People are bragging. Don't do that. People are dumping all over other people. Your work sucks, whatever. Don't do that, right? you might not think it, but the 3D industry is a very, very, very small world. Once you get into the industry and you know the people that really matter as far as hiring and firing and all that, if you are that person, people will know, and you will never get rid of that reputation, right? I had people in one of my groups post something that he didn't make, right? And he said he did, or he used this standard generator, DAS, whatever, and said, oh, look at this model I made. And he didn't, right? Ever since, and this has been years ago, everybody in that group, thousands of people, all of them recognize his name, know who he is, and say, this guy is just full of crap, right? He's not professional. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's just kind of a laughing stock. So be respectful, be honest, work hard, and be humble, especially the last one. You know how hard it is to make it in the 3D industry, right? If you're dealing with people that have been in the industry for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, have respect for that, right? Know how hard they had to work to get that done. If you want them to share their knowledge with you and open doors for you and help you make it in the industry, you need to show that respect, okay? Let's see. Is freelancing considered as experience in the game industry? Of course, absolutely. Have I tried out Bifrost? Have any plans to make videos on it? I have, and I did make videos on it. So if one is really talented with great works, we can apply for jobs outside of India. Of course, you can always do that. What I'm just saying is, it's kind of like where you're living, right? If you can buy a bag of sugar in the store, okay, and the bag of sugar is $1, yeah, or you can drive 2,000 miles to get the same bag of sugar. Why would you, right? There's no reason, unless that bag of sugar turns out it's not sugar, it's a bag full of diamonds, right? Then suddenly you have a reason. So you need to create a reason for the client to hire you. And it usually is a reason that can be related to value or revenue or cost reduction, or at the end of the day, it's a business, right? It's a money game. That's just the way it is. Have I tried out Unreal Engine? Of course. Have any plans to make videos on it? Maybe. I'm working on something, so maybe. I've been working with 3D for 20 years here in Brazil. Studios pay professionals poorly. Yeah. I would say this is a worldwide problem. In the 3D industry, if you allow people to pay you poorly, they will, right? Now, I need to explain that, okay? And this is, I need to be careful how I explain this, because it's kind of a generalization, right? And I don't want to offend anyone. If you look at 3D artists in general, right? So I'm not talking about people specifically, but in general. When 3D artists are typically the creative types, right? So they're sensitive, they're creative, they are in touch with their emotions, and these are critical things. If you are creating things with the intent of triggering other people's emotions, then you have to be in sync with what they are, right? The problem is, from a business perspective, emotions and feelings and all that kind of stuff is the worst thing ever, right? You need to be businesslike and to the point and all that. So most 3D artists don't really have a great business attitude, right? When it comes to money and negotiating and contracts and all that. That's why I do all my talks. That's why I have all these sections on being freelance and all that, yeah? So the industry knows this. The people that own the company, they have a business mind, and 3D artists typically don't. So if I can get away with paying you $5 an hour and you say, yes, hey, I'm an asshole business owner, right? So I'm going to do that. Once you get into the industry and you've proven your skill and you've proven your worth and you have that business mind, you can get past that. But if you look at it like a pyramid, I would say 70% of all 3D artists are basically in that lower part where they're struggling to get hired, they're accepting the low pay and that kind of stuff, right? Okay, Sydney, Australia. I'm a second-year student, found your channel by accident and absolutely love your content. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Cool, thank you. How much time you will need if you're making a 3-minute pure animated video? Well, it depends. Are you talking about the animation part, or are you talking about creating everything from scratch? If it's purely the animation, and it depends on the type of animation and the frequency and all that, I would say, a day, maybe. If you're talking about making the whole thing from scratch, it could even be months, right? How to render alpha paths in Maya. I did a video on that, so check that out. How are we doing, guys? Yeah. Are you enjoying this kind of thing, by the way? Let me know. I haven't done live streams for a little bit. I decided to start that again. But yeah, what do you think? Do you like this kind of thing? Let's see. What do I look for in a 3D generalist? Well, this might sound weird, but if I were a business owner, right, and I needed a 3D generalist, you would think, okay, I'm looking for somebody that can model and rig and do all that, right? But the thing is, that is so obvious because, of course, I mean, if I own a bakery and I want somebody to come in and bake bread for me, that person has to know how to bake bread, obviously, right? So that's not what I'm looking for. That's a given. So what I am looking for is someone that fits as a person, the right personality, the right work ethic, the right communication skills, the ability to collaborate with others. That person has to fit. And does that person need to know how to model? Yeah, obviously, right? I mean, so what I would do is I would go through the resumes and kind of make a first shift based on quality of work, right? No, 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 yes, 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 no, 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 yes, yes, yes. And then based on the yes, 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 I would say, okay, now I'm going to start to look for the right person. So that's what I would do, yeah? Let's see. Yeah, Jason, I know you have made several games, and I know it takes many, many months. Thing is, you have to come up with an idea. You have to script it. You have to storyboard it. You have to lay it out. You have to model everything. You have to texture everything, light everything. It's a long, long process. Freelance video series was helpful. Great. How to improve my 3D modeling skill. Practice, 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 practice. Let's see. Hey, I'm from India. Big fan. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, okay, guys. Well, I want to do another 7 minutes or so. I typically do a 1-hour live stream. We've got 7 more minutes. So yeah, if you got any questions, comments, remarks, suggestions, anything, let me know. Yeah. From a time zone point of view, typically there are a lot of people from India here. And yeah, it's a bit early for the US, I would say. It's 6 in the morning in 6:20 in the morning in New York. And I think it's like 3 in the morning in Arizona, something like that. So they're not awake yet. Okay, character modeling video. Yeah, I got that question a zillion times. The thing is, a character modeling video takes way, way, way too long. So I did videos on face modeling, hand modeling, foot modeling, that kind of stuff. Full character would become a time lapse, and you guys don't like that. How to make a good portfolio? Well, what is a portfolio? A portfolio is a representation of you and the story you are telling. So don't create an ArtStation page and throw up all your stuff, right? What you need to do is think about the story you want to tell, okay? So if you want to get hired as an animator, then don't put up a lot of renders of, hey, here's my lighting, right? Because, hey, your primary goal is that you want to get hired as an animator. Think about what you want, how you want it, when you want it, where you want it, and then construct your portfolio accordingly. Your portfolio is telling the story you want to tell. I did a lot of portfolio reviews on my channel where people miss that point completely, right? I mean, yeah. Oh, by the way, Alpha, this live stream will stay online, so you can look it back at any point, yeah? Let's see. Okay, just woke up to your live and I've been considering self-employment and financial support to create a game. Well, Johnny, what I would say is check out my 10-part series on becoming a freelance artist, because that covers everything: contracting, negotiating, finances, budgeting, planning, modeling, everything. Yeah. California, hey, how you doing? Let's see, can we do gaming modeling in Maya, and what is the procedure of gaming industry pipeline? I don't know what you mean by gaming modeling in Maya. You can model props and assets for games in Maya, yes, if that's your question. What is the procedure of a gaming industry pipeline? That completely depends on the type of game, right? And on the studio, because you got tons and tons of options. And yeah, there are just too many to mention. Just say, don't remember how I found your channel. Probably looking for something specific, but I do enjoy all of the videos you make. Thanks for that. Well, thank you for watching them. Absolutely. 353 in India. There you go. Do I like butter chicken? Okay. Don't know what butter chicken is, but I assume it's not a 3D thing. Class content. Have a nice day, y'all. Sadly, got to go to work. Okay. Well, have a good day and be safe. How long should a show reel last? Definitely not longer than 2 minutes. What kind of exercise should I do to improve on my 3D modeling? Challenge yourself every day to model something that's on your left or right while sitting at your desk. A pen, a coffee mug, whatever. Or even better, have somebody else tell you what to model, right? Let's see. How can I roto in Maya? Well, I don't roto in, I assume you were talking about rotoscoping, yeah? And I would rotoscope in something like After Effects, not Maya. Let's see. Hello, biggest fun from Uganda. Any tips on terrain modeling, landscaping, and fitting that with the architectural model? Well, environmental modeling is a whole different ballgame. Many different techniques to create terrain. A lot of people are using game engines now, so it kind of depends on what you're going to use it for. One of the big challenges in terrain modeling is layout and texturing. So yeah, the only advice I can give you is find in what kind of platform you want to work. For example, Unreal Engine, and then just start watching tutorials and follow along with them. Okay. Let's see, Iman is saying, I feel insecure about my work. Like you said, social media is filled with amazing works, and I feel like I don't fit in there. Okay. Well, the thing is this, and this is my go-to example, and everybody that has ever seen any of my videos knows this, yeah? First of all, what makes you a professional 3D artist? If you make a cube and I give you $1, right, you are now a paid 3D artist. Professional means you make a living out of it. Does that mean that you're good at it? No, it means that you get paid for it, right? So basically anyone can say, hey, I'm a professional 3D artist. That's one thing. Second is this. Everybody is intimidated by everybody, right? Everybody's insecure. Oh, is it good enough? Will they hire me? And whatever. That's completely normal. Now, think of this. If somebody wants to bake bread for a living, right? but they're insecure because there are other people out there that make bread better than I can do that, right? So I'm not going to do it. Then if that were the case, you would have one bakery in the entire world. And obviously that's not the case. So there is room for everyone. There's room in the industry for the absolute high dollar experts. There's also room in the industry for people starting out, right? It's just a matter of supply and demand. So don't worry about that. And my tip for you is this: never compete with other people's art, only compete with your art. Look at what you did last week, try to do something better this week. Look at your own progress. If you are moving forward, then there's no need to be insecure, and there's always going to be people better than you, and there's always going to be people worse than you, okay? Is rigging more in demand? More than what? Is it in demand? Yes, it is, but more than what, okay? A few more questions, guys, and then we'll call it a day. Can you make again a video on pendant and diamond look brilliant in Keyshot? Tried to make it, but I think something went wrong. I actually did a video on that, on a pendant and on a diamond, and I used Keyshot for that, and it's on my channel, so check it out. Thanks. And how often I should update my portfolio? Because in industry, they always ask for update portfolio, and when you start working in industry, you don't have time to update it. Well, when people say, hey, you know, I want to see an updated portfolio, what they mean is I want to see recent work, so I know what your skill set is right now. If you got work posted on your portfolio that you made 7 years ago, that is not representative for who you are, right? So it has to be current. And what I do is, if I am not satisfied, I don't have a portfolio online anymore because I don't need it. But if I had something on there that wasn't okay, I would take it off. And I had something new that I thought was better, I would put it up, right? Love the videos from the UK and the university student. Where is the best place to find the jobs for freelance contracts? Okay, so Games UK Studios. If you watch my 10-part video series on my channel, it's completely free. It talks about everything you need to know about freelance, including this question. Okay. Right, guys. Well, we're well over an hour in. It's even a bit over my normal timing. So I'm going to call it a day, guys. I have a lot of stuff that I still need to do. Like I said, this video will stay up, and you can watch it at any time. Thanks, Jason. In case you guys didn't notice, I did demonetize my channel a few months ago. So if you guys love my content, then consider buying me a cup of coffee, right? I'm going to put a coffee link, something underneath the video, and anything is appreciated, right? Okay, guys, well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all will be extremely successful in your 3D career, and I'll see you guys next time, right? Thanks, guys. Bye.